All right. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. I think I have the microphone. I have everything. All right. So let me see if I click go live, because last time I didn't click go live. It seems like I'm live. Yeah, live on YouTube, live on LinkedIn. All right. So today I'm gonna start refreshing some concepts of MCP. I have done a few things with it with .NET, but next week I'm gonna be in front of other people that really wants to know this. And then I saw in the repository that 2 days ago there was some modification. So I want to know, like, what is the latest thing on MCP, and just refreshing some context, and also trying to integrate in a production ready environment. So I have done this with tests and samples, and so I want to just go ahead and do something more something more cool, more production ready. All right, so what is MCP? It is just a way to provide context to LLMs. So let's figure out how to do this. So I have my Visual Studio Code. Let's try to have a new project. I'm gonna learn this with you all. Yeah, so this is, I mean, it doesn't matter the project, but here in the Copilot, when you open Copilot in agent mode, you can add an MCP server. So let's go with a sample. James have like a few videos in YouTube that are like very cool about like starting with MCP. Also the repository from MCP, it is super nice to do that. So I'm just gonna try to do that. All right, so okay, so let me start with a new project. So I don't know, how do you create a new project? I don't remember, but let's just do it. So let's just start a project here. It's gonna be sandbox MCP server. Let's do it like that. MCP server. .NET. You know what? We're gonna do this in VocalCat. So it is better maybe if I just go with VocalCat. VocalCat is one SSA tool that I have for posting in social media. So for example, like the post that I did in LinkedIn or in YouTube about like how to integrate everything, I just create the content here and I just repost to all my social networks. What is cool about VocalCat is that I create the content, but it optimized for the different platforms. So for example, for LinkedIn, maybe it's a more longer text, and for microblogging like Blue Sky, it creates a thread, and in Instagram, it is just like a caption for the image, right? So like different social media, different formats. So let me try to do it. I'm not sharing the screen. What? That is completely true. So let me change my display. Let me see. Yes, okay. Thank you very much for that, Joy. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is VocalCat. All right, so I will integrate. This is an SSA tool that I created. So SaaS tool that I created. So I'm gonna try to add an API for MCPDs so I can use it in my GitHub Copilot. So for example, if I am in VS Code and I have a small piece of code and I want to share to all my social medias, I can do it from VS Code. So let's try to do that. The code from VocalCat, it is extensive. I'm not sure if I will be able to do it. So let me read a little bit the server. Okay. So right, so build your services with STO server transport, add MCP server, echo tool, and then how do I expose this? Who knows, but let me try to add it. So the thing about the VocalCat thing is that it is two things already. It is a Blazor app, so it's like a full stack app but also it has an API. So in that part, I will need to add another server, which is MCP, because it works in some protocols like SSE, which is server-side events. So let me add that to VocalCat. So I have my project, which it was codenamed Whisker Wave. I don't think that name will have doing waves, but it was something that actually Copilot suggested. At the end, I like the VocalCat thing. Right, so I'm adding the package. And again, this is a little bit different than when you are going with a tutorial, because I'm gonna get some frustration, real life thing, SSAs, production ready stuff. Can you hear the music? I like the music, lo-fi. Alright, so I added the application. Let's see, what else? Now, this is to write the client. I don't want the client, I want the server. So, it's the same thing, yes. Okay, and I already have extensions hosting. Let me just verify that I have extensions hosting. So, it is not here, but Blazor adds that by default. Yeah, so let's just try to assume that it's there for now. Let me go to my program MSCS, and yeah, extension service injection. I have ASP.NET Core, so it's gonna be a little bit different, maybe a little bit more painful, but let me just add that. Okay, so MCP and system component model. So this is the part that we need. I'm not sure if this is gonna work. Let's just try it. So I'm gonna add the MCP server, and then the server transport, which wants to be a studio with tool from assembly, and then I'm gonna add this small class. I'm gonna add it to then, and then so ASP.NET Core is a little bit different than the simple extensions hosting, but one includes the other. So let's see if it compiles. I'm super happy with that. Alright, it is compiling. So who is watching? Just Joy. Okay, he's always a supportive person, I guess. So I added the chat. Let me text something in the chat, like a reaction. What happened if I do the reaction? Nothing. Oh, this is not gonna work. I don't know why. Anyway. No, it's not working. It's still building. Wow. Why is it still building? Let me start reading more about while we do that. So we have the echo tool, which just echo the message. Tools are represented in the server injected by via parameter. And then we have this summarize. This is nice. Now we have an URL, and this is something that we are sending. Oh, it's a reference to this server. That's cool. So you from the MCP, you know what, this can be an security issue, because you can tell whoever is consuming your MCP server to do whatever you want. So if you inject some malicious code here, it's gonna be executed in whoever is consuming your MCP code, and that could be some weird stuff. Right. Okay, so now it's starting. This is starting my local VocalCat. Oh, and now it has the MCP Studio Server Transfer. That's cool. That means that it's gonna do the, okay, this is nice because it is still the VocalCat thing, but now it seems like I have a studio so let me see, studio client transport. How did you configure that? Is there a new port or something? Okay. The good thing about the open source is that you can just go there and start reading the code. So let's see, what does this extension do? Okay, I'm gonna go to the official model context protocol. Oh, do the model context protocol release an official SDK for C#? Is that different from the one from Microsoft? That's interesting. Let's see. Oh yeah, MCP. Oh, is this the same? Oh, it's the same. It's the same. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Never mind. Okay. So now, let me try to add it. So this is documentation, specification, contribution. How do I add one? How do I add one? Okay, I will go to ES Code and MCP. Oh, here, studio. Okay. Okay, I think it makes sense. So let me go here, and then I'm gonna reuse this code. Workspace. I'm gonna modify here from to agent mode, add MCP server, run a local command that implements this. Yeah. Connect to a remote server. Localhost. Standard EO. I'm a little bit lost here, to be honest. Okay, let's see. What other transports do we have here? Does this thing has autocomplete? No. Fine. If you don't like me, it's okay. I don't like you too. Stream server. I like this better. So yeah, okay. I'm wondering what port is gonna open that, but I'm gonna use this server, stream server transport. And let's try to reload. Restart. It is slow because my machine is at the same time is trying to oh, input stream, output stream. Well, yeah, the problem with this MCP is that it's local. I want to do a remote MCP. So this is gonna just execute a local command, and I don't want that. This is what I want. Okay, this is a sample that I can go in. The other thing is Azure container, Azure functions, using Azure functions, but let's use this one. Okay. .NET, extending the server. It just says add MCP server. That makes sense. Let's just do that. Add HTTP client, singleton build map MCP. Oh, guess I need to do that too. Map MCP. So usually map, like when you have this thing like map group and map logging, what it does is like it maps routes from your system or your server to specific controllers. So in this case, I'm guessing there are controllers already for MCP, and it's just mapping that. So let's see. I'm not sure if I lost the connection and everyone is out. So I'm gonna figure out that because the machine that I was using to stream, it is just gone. So I will try to check if the server is still streaming. It restarted, so who knows. I think I'm still live, even if the machine that was going there just restarted. I mean, that's true, that's cool. Ugh, I don't like all these things for streaming. Okay, it seems like I'm still there. I see things on YouTube and I see things in HiSark. Yeah, I see things in YouTube and still in LinkedIn. So let me select this. So I think we are good. Still streaming even if the other machine just went nuts. Okay, let me try to update the YouTube chat. Right. So start, you are there in the screen. Yes. Okay. Alright, so while I was checking the stream, it seems like I have an error. Okay, web application does contain a definition for map MCP. Why? So I'm starting to think that I will need to start less ambitious and then start with a very small application and then going from there. The other thing that I know for sure with tools from assembly, the other thing that I know for sure is that that I'm sharing in VocalCat an SDK, so I can just use the SDK for the MCP. Maybe that's better. What I don't like is that I need to have a new Azure resource and a new thing, and that is not cool. So let me see what is the map? What is this method? Just one more. Maybe something that this guy implements, you know? James. I like James' content. He's super cool. Nope. It's gonna be here. Let's see. Yes. And it says ASP.NET Core. What I am missing? Oh, okay. So maybe I need to use this. No, this should be there. Should be there. What do I have in my code? Okay, dependency injection, ASP.NET Core, MVC authentication, ASP, this extends this method, namespace ASP.NET Core builder. Is this something that this guy have? No. Alright, so let's start by forking this, and then we will go from there, because I want to achieve something today and then build from there tomorrow. Alright, so starting from scratch. Go. I'm using Linux to manage almost everything. I really love Linux. So let me clone the repo. I like that song. All right, now I'm starting to get hungry. And then let's use PowerShell for starting .NET. This was a little trick that I have in my machine because I really like Linux and everything. The problem with a machine that is on Windows is that SSL, WSL